My nanny's daughter was admitted to Fudan University. I wrapped a red envelope of 50,000 yuan on the spot and planned to give her a salary increase. But she pushed him away with a subtle expression. There is no need for the red envelope. My daughter is the pride of heaven and can no longer live in the nanny's room. Look, can you move into the guest bedroom and make the master bedroom available for us, mother and daughter? I froze in place. Her daughter also said confidently, Auntie, I am giving you an opportunity to invest in me. I laughed and paid off my salary on the spot. Auntie, your daughter is one of the best among people. Our small temple is really not worthy of you. 01. Miss Song, what do you mean? Aunt Jean's face, which had always been wearing a humble smile, was now twisted into a ball, and its folds were filled with disbelief and offended anger. She clutched the envelope I handed over, which contained her salary for this month and an extra month's compensation from me. Behind her is Zhou Qianqian, the Fudan freshman who was talking about investment opportunities just now. I crossed my arms, raised my chin high, and my eyes were full of unabashed disdain, as if I had done something that was not worthy of publicity. My living room was designed by myself, with off-white color scheme and walnut furniture. The floor-to-ceiling window shows the bustling night view of the city. At this moment, the living room I had carefully decorated was filled with embarrassment and was oppressive. The meaning is very clear. My voice was very calm, so calm that I was a little surprised. Aunt Jean, the employment contract between us is, as of today. Thank you for your many years of care. You deserve the money, and the other one is my thanks. Please and Qianqian pack your things and leave within an hour. I pointed at the clock on the wall. The hour hand was moving steadily towards 8 o'clock in the evening. Are you driving us away? Aunt Jean's voice suddenly rose in pitch, as sharp as if it was about to pierce my eardrums. Song Yu, how can you be such a cruel woman? I have been working as a cow and horse for your family for so many years, and I have toiled hard even if I don't have any credit. Now that my daughter is promising and has been admitted to Fudan University, you are afraid. Are you jealous? Are you so intolerant of our mother and daughter? With a pop sound, she slammed the envelope on the coffee table, and the red banknotes scattered out like a pool of dazzling blood. She plopped down on the expensive handmade rug and started bawling. The cry was ups and downs, full of huge grievances, and every word was like a dull knife, scratching the nerves of everyone present. I've seen it a long time ago. You just don't like us. Qianqian has been smarter than others since she was a child. You say you are good to her, but you don't know how to curse her. Now that she has been admitted to a prestigious university and is going to become a phoenix, you are afraid that she will overpower you in the future and kick us out. You, executioner. As I watched her rolling around, the warmth in my heart that had been cherished for so many years gradually cooled down, and I was left with only disappointment. I did look at Zhou Qianqian, but I could feel the malicious look in her eyes. Aunt Song, don't do things so cruelly. Her voice was cold, with the innocence and cruelty unique to an 18-year-old girl who's not been polished by the world. If you treat my mother like this today, I will be successful in the future. If you kneel down to beg me, I will not even look at you. What you missed is not a nanny, but an opportunity that will give you a support for the rest of your life. Backing? I almost laughed out loud. I, Song Yu, am 32 years old, a well-known interior designer in China, and have my own studio. This large flat in the city center is my premarital property. My career and my life were built brick by brick with my own hands. Now, a girl who relies on my support to study peacefully stands in my house and tells me that she is my supporter? Absurd. Simply the ultimate absurd. At this moment, there was a sound of the door lock turning. My husband Zheng Yi is back. He was carrying his briefcase, and his face was still tired from work. As soon as he entered the door, he was confused by the tense scene in the living room. What's going on? Aunt Jean seemed to have seen the savior. She rushed over and hugged Zheng Yi's calf, crying even more sadly. Mr. Zheng, please judge. My daughter was admitted to Fudan University, and Miss Song, not only was she unhappy, but she also wanted to kick us out. She said we didn't deserve to live here, thought we were poor, and thought we were an eyesore to her. We, mother and daughter, have no relatives here, and she is trying to drive us to death. Zheng Yi's brows immediately wrinkled, and he looked at me with reproach in his eyes. Song Yu, what's going on? Let's talk to you if you have something to say. After all, Aunt Jean has taken care of us for so many years. How can you rush us as soon as you say it? His harmony attitude is all too familiar to me. Every time I have a conflict with his mother, he is always like this, always trying to smooth things over in the middle, always hoping to make peace with the situation. But today, his airy words of, if you have something to say it well, were like a basin of ice water pouring down from the top of my head. I looked at him, at the man I had loved for many years and who should have been my closest comrade in arms, and for the first time, I saw unfamiliar lines on his face. I feel so cold inside. I was immediately disappointed. Seeing that Zheng Yi's attitude softened, Aunt Jean immediately confused right and wrong, and twisted her previous remarks about asking for a master bedroom into saying that I was jealous of Zhou Qianqian's achievements and was afraid that they would ask for rewards, so she took preemptive measures and drove them away. Zheng Yi's expression became more and more embarrassed. He looked at Aunt Jean and then at me, trying to mediate. Xiuyu, is there any misunderstanding? Aunt Jean didn't mean that. It's a good thing that Qianqian went to college. We should reward her more. Look. I didn't give him a chance to continue. I took my phone out of my pocket and tapped my fingertips on the screen. I pressed the record button on the conversation just now. Look, can you and your husband move into the guest bedroom and make the master bedroom available for us, mother and daughter? Auntie, I am giving you an opportunity to invest in me. A clear, confident, and completely devoid of joking voice echoed in the quiet living room. Every sentence was clear and slapped them in the face, making them lose face. Aunt Jean stopped crying immediately. She still looked like she was crying, but her eyes were full of fear, and her face turned pale. Zhang Yi's face turned from red to white, and then from white to green. He opened his mouth and couldn't say a word. His eyes were full of shock when he looked at Aunt Qin and his daughter. After all, Zhou Qianqian was younger and could react faster. She immediately took the lead and said, "What's the point of recording? My mother wants to change to a bigger room. Our nanny's room is small and trendy, which is not good for your health. It's because you are narrow-minded and insist on misinterpreting what we mean." What a narrow-minded person. At this point, they're still making excuses and blaming me. I gave up the idea of communication completely. It is unreasonable to talk to people who are so greedy that they lose their reason. I didn't say another word and dialed the property security number directly. "Hey, is this the security center? My house is in building A 1201, and 2 outsiders came to my house. They refused to leave and tried to seize my house. Please come up and deal with it." My voice was calm, clear, and devoid of any emotion. The expressions of Aunt Qin and her daughter on the other end of the phone changed completely. 02. The security guards came. 2 young men in uniform looked at the battle in the living room and were a little at a loss. As soon as Aunt Qin saw the security guard, she immediately became dramatic. She put away her arrogance and instantly switched to the look of a vulnerable group who had been bullied. She collapsed on the ground, tears coming at random, pointing at me and crying to the security guard, "Comrade security guard, don't listen to her nonsense. I am her nanny, not an outsider. This is a conflict within our family. She bullies us orphans and widowed mothers." Zhou Qianqian also helped. "My mother has been working in her family for 8 years. 8 years. Now she rushes as soon as she wants, without even an explanation. Do you think this makes sense?" Family conflicts. The security guards looked at each other with a confused look on their faces. One of the older ones said to me, "Madam, you see, it's hard for an upright official to handle household affairs. Since she is your nanny, we can't enforce the law. How about you guys discuss it again? If that doesn't work, we suggest you take legal proceedings." Legal proceedings? By the time the lengthy process was over, the daylilies were already cold. I understand. They don't want to cause trouble. After seeing off the security guard, the living room fell into a strange, dead silence. Aunt Qin and her daughter exchanged a proud look, then sat down on my sofa. Aunt Qin also picked up the apple on the coffee table, wiped it with her clothes, and took a bite. The crisp chewing sound was particularly harsh in the silence. They put on a rogue attitude of, "What can you do to me?" Zhang Yi pulled me to the bedroom, closed the door, lowered his voice, and his face was full of exhaustion and pleading. "Seer you, forget it. Look at how ugly it is now that the neighbors have heard the commotion. Just let them stay for a few days, and then they will leave naturally after they find a house. Why bother?" Forget it. I was so angry that I could hardly hold back my anger. "Zhang Yi, did you hear clearly what they just said? They want my master bedroom. If they dare to ask for the master bedroom today, will they dare to ask for the entire house tomorrow? This is a matter of principle. It is not a matter of accommodation for a few days." His weakness and his harmony thinking made me feel unprecedentedly angry and disappointed at this moment. In this family, I am the only one who is serious. Then what do you want? Do you really call the police and call the police? Song Yu, we are serious people. Please don't make things so ugly, okay? His voice also became louder, showing impatience. While we were arguing, I didn't notice at all that Aunt Qin in the living room was holding her mobile phone and secretly making a call. With a sinister smile on her lips, she cried to the other end of the phone in an extremely miserable tone. Half an hour later, my doorbell rang loudly. Zhang Yi went to open the door. Standing outside the door was my mother-in-law who always disliked me, Li Xiaolan. She rushed in like a tornado, her high heels beating a rapid drumbeat on the floor. As soon as she entered the door, she didn't even look at her son. She rushed straight in front of me, stretched out her finger, and almost poked my nose. "Song Yu, do you still have a conscience?" Aunt Qin called me and told me, "My daughter has worked so hard to get into a prestigious university and bring glory to your old Zheng family. You don't give rewards or blessings, and you push them to death and drive them out. Are you jealous? Do you not see others as better than you?" As soon as Aunt Qin saw her mother-in-law, she felt as if she had seen her backbone. She immediately rushed towards her, hugged her mother-in-law's thigh tightly, and cried so hard that she felt as if she had suffered the greatest grievance in the world. "Old sister, you have to make the decision for us. My old life is nothing. Poor my Qianqian. She is still a child. She will go to college soon. If she is kicked out and lives on the road, how will she behave in the future? My mother-in-law, Li Xiaolan, has never liked me. She thinks that I am too career-oriented and that I am not like other women who are family-centered and husband-centered. She always felt like I was stealing the spotlight from her son." At this moment, Zhou Qianqian, who has excellent grades and is about to enter a prestigious school, seems to have become other people's perfect child in her eyes, an excellent tool to suppress and belittle me. She lovingly helped Aunt Qin up, touched Zhou Qianqian's head lovingly, turned her head to me, with a domineering face. "I tell you, Song Yu, I have the final say in this matter. We have watched Qianqian grow up, and now that she is successful, our whole family should be happy for her. Before they went to college, their mother and daughter lived here. In the guest bedroom, I will live there too. I want to see who dares to bully them in this family." She delivered her verdict with final word. I looked at Zheng Yi, hoping that he would be fair. However, my husband, the man who had been arguing with me in the bedroom just now, instantly turned into a docile quail in front of his powerful mother. He lowered his head and looked at his toes, not daring to refute a word. I looked around. There was undisguised pride and provocation on the faces of Aunt Qin and her daughter. The mother-in-law has a domineering face that says, "I have the final say," written all over it. And my husband's heartbreakingly cowardly silence. At that moment, I felt like an intruder, an outsider. This home that I ran with my hard work and love suddenly turned into a cage that surrounded me. I was angry and aggrieved. I felt like no one was on my side, and I felt very worried. My heart grew colder and colder, and I had no hope at all. But I didn't cry or make a fuss. I just looked at them, looking at these three people who thought they were victorious. A sneer slowly appeared on my face. Okay, very good. Since you lured the wolf into the house, don't blame me for closing the door and beating the dog. 03. The war started in my own home in a ridiculous way. Mother-in-law Li Xiaolan kept her promise and really stayed. She and Aunt Qin and her daughter formed an unbreakable alliance. Zheng Yi and I became outsiders in this family. They did not move into the master bedroom in the end, but after the strong intervention of my mother-in-law, they moved into my study, which is also the guest bedroom at home. My study is the most private and cherished space in my entire home. It contains all my professional books, design products I bought from all over the world, and the creative tools I rely on for survival, the top-of-the-line computer and professional-grade drawing tablet. But now, this space has been occupied. On the first day she moved in, Zhou Qianqian unceremoniously opened my computer and used my drawing tablet. When I pushed the door in to get an important contract document, what I saw was her sitting on my chair, using my tools and pointing at my design draft. "Aunt Song, your color scheme is too old-fashioned. Today's young people don't like this style. The layout of this space is unreasonable and wastes too much area." She sounded like an experienced expert, as if she was the senior designer who'd been in the industry for 10 years, and I was just an apprentice who needed her advice. I suppressed the anger in my heart and looked at her coldly. "Zhou Qianqian, that is my personal computer, and the files inside involve commercial secrets. Please turn it off now." She curled her lips, stood up reluctantly, and murmured in her mouth, "What's the matter with just using it? You're so stingy." Aunt Qin's life was more comfortable than ever before. She was completely freed from the role of nanny and transformed into the overlord of the family. She no longer does any housework. She sleeps until she wakes up naturally every day and then walks around the house like an overseer, picking on me. I mopped the floor and she said, "Song Yu, look at how you mop the floor. There's dust in the corners and I haven't even finished it yet." I was cooking and she stood at the door of the kitchen, folding her arms and commenting, "You need to blanch the ribs first and then add the cooking line. You have reversed the order. Will it taste good?" She even began to instruct me to use the high-end imported ingredients I bought to stew birds' nests, boil chicken soup, and make sea cucumbers for her baby daughter Zhou Qianqian and my mother-in-law Li Xiaolan every day. At the dinner table, the three people's faces were all red from eating, while Zheng Yi and I often only had some leftovers in front of us. Her mother-in-law is always beating the drums from the side. Qianqian is going to college soon. She studies hard and needs to replenish her health the most. Aunt Qin is the same. She's been tired for most of her life, and it's time to enjoy her happiness. Song Yu, please do more, and don't be so petty. Zheng Yi tried to resist once. "Mom, Xiao Yu is very tired from work. Let's hire a part-time worker for housework." The mother-in-law's eyes widened. "What kind of part-time job do you want? It's not like there are no idle people at home. Song Yu is a designer. How tired can she be when she works in an office? It just allows her to stretch her muscles. Besides, isn't it right for her to serve us?" Zheng Yi was defeated again, and he could only apologize to me in private. "Honey, if you keep putting up with it, my mother will be like that." Tolerate? Listening to him always asking me to endure it, I felt completely cold. The most unbearable thing happened one weekend. Zhou Qianqian brought a large group of her high school classmates to her house for a party in the name of celebrating her entrance into higher education without any consent from me. Throughout the afternoon, my originally quiet and elegant living room became like a vegetable market. The music was turned up to its maximum volume, making my eardrums buzz. A group of half-grown children were jumping up and down on the sofa, and Coke and potato chip crumbs were scattered everywhere. There are clear footprints and stains on my white wool carpet. A limited edition sculpture I put in the display cabinet was passed around as a toy by them. I finally couldn't bear it anymore and walked out of the bedroom to try to stop the farce. "Zhou Qianqian, please let your classmates leave. This is my home, not a public entertainment place." Zhou Qianqian was surrounded by a group of classmates. When she saw me, there was no apology on her face. Instead, she came over with a smile and took my arm as intimately as if we were best friends. "Oh, Aunt Song, don't be so serious. You should be happy. Let me introduce to you. This is the son of Uncle Wan's family who will go to Oxford in the future, and that is Aunt Lee's daughter who has been admitted to the University of Hong Kong. Those who can come to my party will be social elites in the future. I am helping you expand your network in advance, and you should thank me." Her words made me tremble with rage. Shameless, it can reach this point. The mother-in-law walked out of the room and immediately burst into laughter when she saw this lively scene. She came over, pulled me aside, and scolded me in a low voice. "What's wrong with my children and classmates coming to play and having fun? Wouldn't it be nice to make the house lively? You are just petty and can't tolerate others. Don't put on a bad face here and embarrass Qianqian." I looked at Zheng Yi desperately. He stood outside the crowd, his eyes evasive, not daring to look at me. He came over, took my hand, and said the same old words. Forget it. Just this time, let them play. Young people?" My heart, at that moment, was completely cold. I didn't argue with them again. I turned back to the bedroom and locked the door. I leaned against the door, listening to the noise outside, and felt that I was alone, and no one understood me. There is no place for me in this home. That night, after everyone went to bed, I turned on the computer. Instead of looking at my design draft, I placed an order for several state-of-the-art micro cameras. It is small in size, has night vision function, and can be connected to a mobile phone for real-time viewing. I want to see what more shameless things these people can do where I can't see them. A few days later, the express arrived. While there was no one at home, I quietly installed the camera in the living room, corridor, and the hidden corner of the study door facing my dressing table. After doing all this, I felt a strange sense of peace, like the silence before the storm. Sure enough, within 2 days, I monitored through my mobile phone and saw a scene that made my blood pressure soar. Aunt Jean and Zhou Qianqian sneaked into my master bedroom while I was not at home. They opened my dressing room as if they were visiting their own back garden, took out my designer bags one by one, and carried them on their backs, posing in front of the mirror. Zhou Qianqian even put on one of my formal dresses, stepped on my high heels, and walked around the room, imitating the posture of a model on a catwalk. Aunt Jean kept praising from the side. My daughter is just a clothes hanger. She looks good in anything she wears. She dresses much more elegantly than her, referring to me. Wait, Qianqian, when you become successful in the future, Mom will buy all these things for you. The most intolerable thing was that I saw Zhou Qianqian walking to my dressing table. She opened my locked jewelry box. The lock had been picked with a hairpin. She picked up my necklaces and bracelets and put them on herself one by one. Finally, her eyes fell on the velvet box inside. In the box is the pair of diamond earrings that Zheng Yi gave me when I got married. It's not big, but the design is very unique. It is my most cherished jewelry. Zhou Qianqian picked up the pair of earrings and compared them on her ears, with greed in her eyes. She hesitated and finally put the earrings into her pocket. Then, she calmly restored the jewelry box to its original state and left my room with her mother. I sat on the chair in the studio, looking at this extremely clear scene on the phone screen, and felt cold all over. This is not a dove occupying a magpie's nest. This is a burglary. The war has escalated from occupying space to substantive property infringement. I kept quiet. I just calmly saved this video. I know that the time to fight back is coming soon. 04. My birthday came in such a depressing atmosphere. Zheng Yi probably felt guilty. In order to express his apology, he made a reservation at the most difficult French restaurant in the city a week in advance, saying that he wanted to give me a surprise and have a good time together. To be honest, I have no expectations for him. But looking at his face full of flattery and expectation, I still felt soft. Perhaps this is an opportunity for our relationship to ease. On my birthday, I went home from get off work early. I took a hot bath, carefully put on makeup, and put on the silk dress Zheng Yi gave me last year. When I saw myself in the mirror with a radiant face but tired eyes, I felt mixed emotions. I opened the bedroom door and prepared to go out. However, my mother-in-law Li Xiaolong blocked the door like a door god. She looked me up and down, her eyes full of criticism and dissatisfaction. Where are you going to fool around when you're dressed like this? It's your birthday today, and the whole family is eating at home. Aunt Jean specially made chicken soup for you, bought your favorite fish, and cooked it. Now you want to go out to eat? What a waste of money. Her tone sounded as if cooking me a meal at home was a great gift. I took a deep breath and tried to keep my voice steady. Mom, Jimmy has booked the restaurant a long time ago. We agreed to go out today. I've already made a reservation and canceled it. Why should a family go out to eat for a birthday? It's too much money to burn, isn't it? Zheng Yi. She shouted towards the living room. Zheng Yi stood up from the sofa and walked over with an embarrassed look on his face. Mom. Don't call me Mom. Let me ask you, is this the restaurant you booked? Call me now to cancel it. Do you hear me? The mother-in-law's voice was sharp and sharp. Zheng Yi looked at me, his eyes full of apology and helplessness. In the end, he picked up the phone and canceled the surprise he had carefully prepared in front of me. At that moment, I felt like a clown. I dressed up in the hope that I would have a moment of respite, but instead I was deprived of the right to celebrate my birthday in my own home. That birthday dinner was like chewing wax. At the dinner table, my mother-in-law and Aunt Jean sang, and the theme was always the same, praising Zhou Qianqian and belittling me. Our Qianqian is really amazing. There are thousands of students in their high school, but she was admitted to Foug University. This child has a bright future. No, it's not like some people who go to a third-rate university and become a painter. How can they have a big future? My mother-in-law said, giving me a pointed look. Although the university I graduated from is not a top-notch university, it is quite prestigious in the field of design. In her words, it became a third-rate university. Aunt Jean immediately answered. Qianqian said that when she graduates and joins a big company with an annual salary of 1 million, the first thing she will do is to give me a bigger house so that she no longer has to rely on others. These words were clearly meant for me. The atmosphere throughout the dinner was extremely depressing. Zheng Yi buried his head in eating, without saying a word. I watched their performance expressionlessly, feeling dead in my heart. After the meal, just when I thought the torture was finally over, Zhou Qianqian suddenly took out a beautifully wrapped gift box from the room and handed it to me. Aunt Song, happy birthday. She had a false smile on her face. Thank you for taking care of our mother and daughter for so many years. This is a little bit of my heart. I hope you like it. The mother-in-law immediately exaggeratedly praised. Oh, our Qianqian is so sensible, so filial. Song Yu, look at how thoughtful Qianqian is. Open it quickly and see what it is. An ominous premonition arose in my heart. I took the box numbly and slowly opened it under their urging eyes. Inside the box, lying quietly on the velvet padding, were my stolen pair of diamond earrings. Under the light, the diamond reflects a cold and dazzling light. My breathing stopped at this moment. Zhou Qianqian announced proudly. Her voice was not loud, but it was enough for everyone present to hear clearly. I bought this with a scholarship from the school, a classic Chanel model. I saw it when I was shopping and thought it matched your temperament, so I bought it. The mother-in-law's praises came like a tide. Oh my god, Chanel, how much does it cost? Qianqian, you are so promising. Unlike some people, you have been married for so many years and you haven't even received a decent gift. Her contemptuous eyes pierced my body like needles. My eyes crossed the pair of twinkling earrings and stared at Jingyi. I saw his expression become extremely embarrassed and unnatural in an instant. His lips moved, as if he wanted to say something. He knows these earrings. They are obviously his wedding gift to me. I looked at him and asked him for help with my eyes, hoping that he would come forward, even if he just said, "These earrings look familiar." However, he just lowered his head deeply and avoided my gaze. Silence. He chose silence. At that moment, I clearly heard the sound of something completely shattering in my heart. The thief took my thing and gave it to me as a gift in front of me and in front of everyone. And my husband, my closest lover, the one who should have protected me and stood by me, chose to remain silent. He acquiesced in this absurd humiliation. He just watched me being bullied, which completely chilled me. I've completely given up on him. My chest felt tight, and my eyesight went dark. Mother-in-law's praise, Aunt Chin's pride, Zhou Qianqian's pride, all the sounds became distant and vague. I was so confused that I couldn't bring myself to do anything. I don't know how long it took, but I heard myself laughing. A very soft laugh, but in this noisy environment, it seemed extremely clear and strange. Everyone stopped and looked at me in surprise. I raised my head and met Zhou Qianqian's gaze, with an extremely calm smile on my face that they had never seen before. "Thank you," I said, my voice as soft as a feather. "I like it very much." My calmness made all of them feel inexplicably uneasy. That night, I waited for Zheng Yi to return to the bedroom. As soon as he walked in, he looked guilty and uneasy. "Wife, I'm sorry, I didn't let him finish." I sat on the edge of the bed, looked at him, and gave an ultimatum in an unprecedentedly calm tone. "Them or me, it's your choice. I want answers before dawn tomorrow." 05. The next day, it was dawn. Zheng Yi sat on the sofa all night, his eyes bloodshot. He looked at me with pain and struggle on his face, but he never gave me the answer I wanted. The way he was dilly-dallying made me lose all hope. I no longer count on him. I decided to clean up this mess myself. At 8 o'clock in the morning, her mother-in-law Li Xiaolong happily took the secondary card from Zheng Yi like a victorious general. Qianqian is going to Shanghai soon. It's a big city. You can't dress too shabbily to make people look down on you. I'm taking her and her mother to the mall today. They have to wear new ones from head to toe. Do you have any objection to spending some money on it?" She said to Zheng Yi arrogantly, but looked at me provocatively. Zheng Yi nodded cowardly. Aunt Qin and Zhou Qianqian were overjoyed. They were all dressed up and surrounded their mother-in-law like 3 peacocks in full bloom and walked out the door. They had just stepped out of the house. I picked up the phone on my back and dialed the number of the moving company I had already contacted. "Hey, is this Jeshin moving?" "Yes, it's me. You can come over now, building A 1201. "Yes, everyone is moving out." Half an hour later, 6 strong men wearing blue work clothes and carrying professional packing tools appeared at my door. Zheng Yi was startled by this battle. He rushed over and grabbed me. "Song Yu, what are you going to do? Are you crazy?" I shook his hand away, my eyes as cold as ice. "I'm not crazy, I'm sane." I took out a document from the entrance drawer and slapped it in front of him. "Zheng Yi, look clearly whose name is written on the property certificate of this house. This is my premarital property." Then I turned to the moving company foreman, his voice calm and clear with authority. "Master, except for the bed frame in the master bedroom and the hard furnishings that the developer brought when handing over the house, all the movable things here will be packed and taken away from me. Furniture, appliances, decorations, carpets, curtains, not a single thing will be left behind." "Where to move?" asked the foreman. "I'll send you the address of the constant temperature short-term warehouse in the west of the city. Be careful and don't bump into it. The things inside are very expensive." I directed all this calmly, as if I was directing a design project that had nothing to do with me. Zheng Yi was completely dumbfounded. He stood there and watched the workers, like hard-working ants, quickly and efficiently dismantling, packing, and moving the home he had lived in for many years bit by bit. He watched the Italian sofa I handpicked being carried away, the smart TV we bought together being packed into boxes, and the vase I bought from Jing Dejun being carefully wrapped. Every item in this home is engraved with my mark, and I filled it up bit by bit with my own hard work and money. And now I want to take them all back with my own hands. Zheng Yi tried to stop them. He wanted to pull the workers away, shouting incoherently, "We can't move. You can't move." I walked up to him and blocked his way. "Zheng Yi, if you dare to touch them, I will call the police now and accuse you of breaking into private houses and preventing others from disposing of private property." The look in my eyes made him stop. He slumped down on the bare floor, holding his head in his hands and growling like a trapped animal. I didn't look at him again. 3 hours. In just 3 hours, this once warm home turned into an empty shell. The walls are still white and the floor is still wooden, but the soul has been completely extracted. Only the cold, hard furnishings belonging to the developer and the lonely bed frame in the master bedroom were left. I paid for the moving expenses and gave the workers a big red envelope. After seeing them off, I made one last call and called the most professional locksmith in the city. "Master, replace the lock cylinder with the highest security level for me. Delete all the original fingerprint locks and leave no one behind." When the brand new keys were handed into my hands, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. I grabbed my suitcase that I packed a long time ago and walked out of this suffocating home. Zheng Yi was still sitting on the ground, like a sculpture of despair. I didn't look back. I checked into my favorite 5-star hotel in the city center and booked an executive suite with the best view. I stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window of the suite, watching the constant flow of traffic downstairs. I took out my phone and took a photo of the bare-walled house just now. Then I clicked on the family group where there were only 4 of us. In the group, the mothers-in-law are still showing off their trophies, posting photos of themselves carrying big-name shopping bags. I sent the photo of the empty house. Then, a line of text was added. The master bedroom, yes bedroom, and the entire house are now available to you. Enjoy your stay. Send. Then, I turned on airplane mode. The world suddenly became quiet. Game 1, General. 06. I can imagine the chaos on the other end of the phone. Countless phone calls and cursing text messages. I was cut off from the moment I turned on airplane mode. I had the most peaceful sleep in a month on the hotel's big, soft bed. At noon the next day, I was woken up by a phone call from the hotel front desk. Miss Song, Mr. Zheng is looking for you downstairs. He said he was your husband, and he was very excited. You see. Ask him to wait. I hung up the phone, got up slowly, washed up, and even leisurely enjoyed an exquisite lunch delivered by the hotel. An hour later, I appeared in the coffee shop in the hotel lobby wearing a bathrobe. Zheng Yi was sitting on the sofa in the corner, looking very haggard, with messy hair, wrinkled shirt, and red eyes, like an abandoned stray dog. When he saw me, he stood up suddenly and rushed to me. His voice was hoarse and crying. Wife, what do you want? How about you go home? When we go home, I will listen to you in everything. Go home. I smiled. Which home should I go back to? That empty shell with only 4 walls left. He was choked by me and couldn't speak, and his eye circles became even redder. This was the first time I saw him bow to me and admit his mistake to me. But it's too late. I took out a document I had prepared a long time ago from my bag and slapped it on the table in front of him. Zheng Yi, this is a list of our common property after marriage. I have asked a lawyer to calculate it. The house is mine, the things inside are mine, and I can take them back at any time. Now let's talk about divorce. The word divorce exploded in his ears like a bomb. He was completely panicked and grabbed my hand with such force that he almost crushed my bones. No, I don't want a divorce. Song-yu, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Don't divorce me, please. He was a tall man about 1.8 meters tall, and he was crying like a child right in front of me. In the past, I might have softened my heart. But now, my heart is as hard as a rock. I coldly withdrew my hand, looked into his eyes, and said word for word, "It's okay if you don't want a divorce. I'll give you 2 choices. 1, immediately, let your mother and that disgusting mother and daughter get out of my house. Get out, not leave. 2, take back the secondary card in your mother's hand. From now on, we must clearly draw a clear line between her and her finances. We can bear her pension, but it is by no means such a bottomless request. If you can do it, there's still a possibility for us to continue talking. If you can't, we'll meet at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning." Zhang Yi's crying stopped. He looked at me with struggle in his eyes. He could agree to the first condition without hesitation, but the second condition made him hesitate. My mother, it's not easy for her to pull me up by herself. She has been using that card for so many years. I sneered and stood up. It seems you haven't thought about it yet. Go back and discuss it with your mother and your 2 distinguished guests. I turned around and left without giving him any chance to speak. I didn't expect him to change overnight. While he was hesitating, my plan B had already been quietly launched. Back in my hotel room, I made a call. On the other end of the phone was the private detective I paid a lot of money to hire. "Hey, did you find the information I asked for?" "Found it, Miss Song." The voice of the other party was very professional. The woman named Qin Guifan you're looking for has a very simple background, but she has a son named Zhou Qiang, who is 26 years old. He is a famous gambler in his hometown county and owes a lot of debt. Most of the money Qin Guifan has earned from you over the years has been used to fill her son's bottomless pit. "Do you have the creditor's contact information?" My voice was calm. "Yes. The biggest creditor is a moneylender named Manga. Zhou Qiang owes him nearly 200,000 yuan, with interest compounded, and he is almost unable to pay it back. This is Brother Long's phone number." After hanging up the phone, I looked at the number named Brother Long on the phone with a sneer on my face. I changed an anonymous phone card, used an anonymous number, and sent this Brother Long a carefully edited text message. "Want to collect debt? Zhou Qiang's mother, Qin Guifan, works as a nanny for a wealthy family in Building 1201, Building A, XX Community, XX Road, Suhui District, Shanghai. His sister, Zhou Qianqian, has just been admitted to Fudan University. The employer is generous. Not only did he give her a cash red envelope of 50,000 yuan, but he is also ready to let her live in the master bedroom in the city center. This family is very rich. If you ask for money, you will definitely get it." At the end of the text message, I attached my home address. "Aunt Qin, Zhou Qianqian, don't you love face most and bragging about your high status? Then I will let your respect be torn to pieces. Let the high branches that you are proud of become the fuse that sets you on fire. 07. My guess was correct. For people like Brother Long who make a living by lending money, 200,000 is not a small amount of money. They will not let go of any clues that might lead them to get their money back. Early the next morning, while I was still enjoying jogging and breakfast in the hotel, my neighbor sisterly sent a video to the owner group and specially at me. In the video, the entrance to my apartment building was surrounded by 7 or 8 strong men with tattoos on their arms and thick gold chains around their necks. They didn't rush in, but they were well prepared. One of the leaders, holding a large speaker in his hand, was playing a loop at the top of the building. "Qin Guifan, pay back your debts. It's only right. Your son Zhou Qiang owes us 200,000 yuan in gambling debts. Don't hide in there and keep silent. We know you are rich. Your daughter was admitted to Fudan University and got a big red envelope of 50,000 yuan. Pay back the money quickly. Otherwise, we will rush up." The sound from the loudspeaker is so penetrating that it can be heard in almost the entire community. Upstairs and downstairs, many windows were open. Neighbors stuck their heads out, pointed at the downstairs, and talked about it. The owner group immediately exploded. "Oh my God, which company is this? Is it collecting debts at the gate of our community? Did you hear that? Building 1201 isn't it the home of Designer Song? Who is Chin Guifin? Her nanny? Her son owes 200,000 yuan for gambling. I saw Designer Song and her mother-in-law going shopping yesterday with a nanny and the nanny's daughter. They were carrying big and small bags. They looked quite rich. I looked at the messages that were constantly being refreshed in the group, and the corners of my mouth raised slightly. My mother-in-law, who loves face most and cares about respect the most, is probably hiding in that empty house right now, trembling with fear. Sure enough, not long after, Sisterly sent me another private message. Suyu, the fight at your door is too scary. Your mother-in-law just wanted to rush out to argue with someone, but she was retorted by someone saying, "Are you your mother or your mother? Just go away." Her face turned pale with anger. That little girl, her name is Qian, right? She also rushed out, right? They yelled that her brother's matter had nothing to do with them, but the leader pointed her nose in and said, "Didn't your mother say that your employer lives in a mansion and is very rich? So she still wants to give you the master bedroom? Why don't you have money to pay back?" The little girl cried on the spot. Now the entire corridor is full of neighbors watching the fun, and your mother-in-law and others have been completely embarrassed. I can almost picture that. Zhou Qianqian, the girl who calls herself the proud daughter of heaven, the fudan aura she is proud of will instantly shatter into feathers in the face of the disdainful and curious eyes of her neighbors and the unworthy label of the gambler's sister. This feeling of falling from the clouds into the quagmire must be very uncomfortable. This farce lasted all morning. In the end, it was her mother-in-law Li Xiaolan who gritted her teeth and used her pension to transfer 200,000 yuan to Brother Long on the spot for the sake of her pitiful face and to escape early. After receiving the money and goods, Brother Long took his people and left with satisfaction. The world is quiet. But the fragile revolutionary alliance between mother-in-law and Aunt Jean and her daughter was completely torn apart by this double blow of money and face. I can imagine that the mother-in-law who used her own pension money to fill other people's holes, when she looks at Aunt Jean and her daughter, her eyes will definitely no longer have the love and appreciation before, but will only be full of disgust and disgust. 08. After this incident, my mother-in-law no longer has the face to stay in my house. That afternoon, she packed up her things in despair and returned her home. Before leaving, she didn't even dare to call me. Zheng Yi was also completely awake. He came to the hotel and handed the withdrawn secondary card to me along with the keys to my house. He kept his attitude very low and repeatedly assured me that he would never let his mother interfere in our family affairs again in the future, and he would definitely stand firmly with me. I looked at his haggard face and didn't immediately agree to go home, because my third step plan has just begun. When I returned to my empty home, the first thing I did was to remove the tiny cameras. I spent an entire night carefully editing all the video material inside. At the beginning of the video, there was a conversation between Aunt Jean and Zhou Qianqian, who confidently asked me to vacate the master bedroom. The greed and natural look on their faces were clearly captured. In the middle part, there is a picture of Zhou Qianqian and her so-called elite classmates having a carnival in my living room, making the house a mess. The climax was the night of my birthday, when Zhou Qianqian took out the pair of diamond earrings that belonged to me and lied that they were gifts she bought with her scholarship to give to me. The proud and hypocritical expression on her face. To make the chain of evidence more complete, I've also attached a scanned copy of the invoice for purchasing the pair of earrings, a detailed close-up photo of the earrings, and a photo of my